Hello, Gins, it's me, Nanigans, coming to you with another video. In this video, I wanted to go over my previous draft league teams. Starting with a lot of history with this one. This is our first ever Unova draft. It had 6 players. None of us knew anything about draft format. This was just us kind of playing around with friends. We had no tier system, no point system, very small amount of rules. And we were unlimited as to what we could pick, as long as somebody else didn't pick it. I was the 6th pick of this draft, and we chose to do the Unova region Pokemon, so we only have Unova Pokemon, not counting the legendaries. Because between 6 people, we just kind of decided it's this or Gen 1 basically for 150 Pokemon ish. And we just decided Unova was a little bit more interesting, so we went with this generation. Overall, looking back at it, I do think I did have the best team. There were some really good contenders, though. Yeah, I think everybody except Pog had a pretty strong team. So just starting with it, my first pick of the draft was Ferrothorn. And the reason why is because when Craver and I initially started talking about what would be our first pick for a draft Pokemon out of every region, he picked Excadrill, and I said, okay, well, if I'm not getting Excadrill, I'd want Ferrothorn. And lo and behold, he was pick 5, and I was the bottom wheel pick. I was pick 6. So he got Excadrill, and I was like, I wanted to use Excadrill because he's a cool Pokemon. So I went ahead and nabbed Ferrothorn, and then on my second wheel pick, I got Conkeldurr to deal with the Excadrill, because right off the bat, I thought Craver would be the biggest threat, and then Craver ended up getting Hydreigon on his second pick. So I kind of just started building a team to counter him. I don't remember what his second pick was, but I knew that Craver was Excadrill was gonna be an issue. I didn't really think too hard back then. All I knew is that, like, this person has this Pokemon, this person has this is really good, so we're gonna, since round robin and it's not limited to who we're gonna be fighting, I can counter draft pretty strongly. While also building some pretty good cores for myself. I don't remember what my third pick was. I think it was Jellicent, because all the water types were getting picked and I just really wanted a good water. I really wanted to get a fire type as well, but the only fire types left I didn't feel were good enough at the time to pick up, because there was like Heatmore or Imbor, which didn't really seem that appealing at the time because I had Conkeldurr. So I think I ended up getting Vanillix. No, I think I got Haxorus because I said somebody can't have Hydreigon and Haxorus. So I'm going to make sure that I get this Pokemon. And then on my return trip, I got Vanillix and Electros, I believe. No, I don't remember. But I built this team thinking Electros is one of my favorite Pokemon ever. I like electric types a lot. He has Levitate, so no weaknesses. Means, like, even if I don't know how to lead a good Pokemon, because I'm still kind of unfamiliar with Pokemon at this point, Electros will always be good as, like, a beginner lead, basically. Which he ended up being really good at, because he was my second place MVP, first being Conkeldurr, because Unova didn't have a lot of counters for Conkeldurr. The biggest counter was like Reuniclus, really. But nobody really had a way to deal with Conkeldurr, which made him very, very strong and kind of overwhelming. And Electros not having a weakness outside of like Mold Breaker or Earthquake from an Excadrill or something, just meant that he was not taking a lot of damage from anybody. So he was doing tons of chip as a slow pivot, or like getting one-shots with either a physical stab or a special stab, because he's so maneuverable with his abilities and his stats. Jellicent could set Trick Room, which could help all of these guys go off. Vanillix was the only other weather setter in this generation, the only other one being Gigalith. So I kind of thought, like, oh, it wouldn't hurt to have Hail, And then I also learned about freeze dry, which is fucking stupid. And I probably shouldn't curse. Oh well. And Aurora Veil, which is probably the dumbest thing ever, which is really cool. Lilligant was kind of a throwaway pick. I should have picked something else, but we didn't have trades at the time, so Lilligant was benched the entire season. She never really needed to come though, because the other 7 held over pretty well. There are some pretty glaring weaknesses with this team, where if we just move over here, we notice, oh, that's not a lot of hazards, but that's okay because Ferrothorn is really good at hazard setting. It just doesn't give him maneuverability to do much anything else rather than hazard set. Then we notice, oh, we don't have a lot of hazard removal, but we also aren't super weak to hazards other than like a few here and there's. So not too bad right off the start. We do notice my only cleric is Lilligant, which is kind of brutal. Because she just can't do a whole lot. She's not very bulky. She can Healing Wish, which basically means she kills herself. And then I have my Momentum, which is just Electros and Swoobat. Which, granted, Electros, his Momentum was more than enough for the entire season to win it. But it really isn't that great when you limit yourself to this little amount of Momentum. Everybody only had 8 Pokemon, so I feel like this is actually a pretty good amount of things to have. I just wish I had a better cleric. Like, I wish I got a Loma Mola or I don't know. I think its name is I don't know. But overall, this team was pretty strong to use. It had pretty wide array of speed tiers, meaning I could speed creep if I needed to. Swoobat is kind of a weaker Pokemon, but that's okay. It has pretty good abilities with Simple, Unaware, and Klutz, which meaning you can... It's basically a really good gimmick Pokemon. Also has a good speed tier, like if it needs to check. It's not really good at being a check for certain things, but having the added variety or the ability to just cheese something is pretty cool. Haxorus being 97 speed is kind of sucky because the few things you needed to outspeed, it was never really enough. But Moldbreaker is a really good ability. Unnerve can be good if you know that they like to run berries. Vanillix with Snow Warning, Aurora Veil, and Hindsight is amazing, and I should have utilized it way better. But at the time I didn't know too much about competitive Pokemon. Jellicent is a really good Water Absorb Pokemon. Water Absorb being one of the... This ability nuts, bro. This ability is so good. Curse Body is also pretty strong. Just, you know, sometimes shutting off a move. Pretty good. Electros having Levitate. Having a ground immunity is so good. And Slow Pivot. Electros. Smon. So good. So good. Conkeldurr, having Guts, Sheer Force, Iron Fist means you can always have variety in your sets. I don't think I ever used Sheer Force. I didn't think I ever thought I needed it. And then Ferrothorn is good at just being a tank. He has Iron Defense and Body Press, which is broken. Not broken, but very, very good. On top of hazards, on top of being really slow. So he has a lot of, he can be a little bit of a momentum sucker for sure, but overall I'd say he's a really strong mod. All these Pokemon, I think are pretty good for what they're worth. Nowadays we say Ferrothorn is like a 15-point mon, Conkeldurr is like a 13-14 mon, Electros is a 7-point mon, Jellicent's like a 10-point, Vanillix, depending on what, if there's other weather setters, is pretty high, like 10, it's a, like, mid-tier, mid-tier, mid-low tier, high tier, garbage, mid-tier, low tier. So overall, it's basically as many points as I would be spending in a regular draft, so honestly, pretty good team overall. I think I'm actually gonna turn this into a separate part because this is already 10 minutes long. So we'll just say that this team was pretty good. I really liked using it. It's pretty good with speed tiers. Didn't really have very good type distribution. It's pretty weak to ice. Nah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But memory lane is pretty cool. Bye.